Welcome to The Good Life. Thank you for stopping by. I am Patrick Harney, proud member of the MPods Network. Again, remember you can go to MPods on YouTube to be able to watch all of these episodes. You can just go down to my playlist and boom, there I am. Also, if you're listening to this, or if you want to listen to this, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHEART Radio. Anywhere podcasts are, I am at. So today I have a very special, very special episode because it features a very good friend of mine who I've known for years now, and we've worked together a few times, and every time we get together, it is always a wonderful experience. His name is Bobby Laenen, and he is one of the hardest working people that I know, and he's very inspiring in his work in the way that, or in the sense that, I mean, he never stops, and he just keeps pushing, and I take that as a nice motivator. And so, yeah, we have a great conversation. And yeah, I'm just going to dive into it. Here we go. Oh, by the way, before I do that, I want to make sure that you all like, subscribe, share, comment. Check out Attack on Show as well. That's a show that I co-host with Rob E. Also, check out TFG, the boys over at the TFG podcast, Jeff and Brandon. Always get some good content. Their episodes come out every Tuesdays and Friday. Now let's get into the show. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Patrick.
And welcome to The Good Life, man. How you doing?
Better now that I'm sitting on a Zoom meeting with you.
Dude, we've been trying to get this going for legitimately a year. Almost a year.
Too long.
And we finally got here. We got it.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry it took so long.
No, dude. No, you're totally fine. We've both been busy, and you've been extremely busy, which I've been happy to see, and I've been very excited to see for you. So
thank you.
No worries at all, man. So we met. Can you believe we met almost 4 years ago? That was when DPD was done, almost 4 years ago. January, yeah. I think it was, or February, something like that.
The coldest January ever in the history of the United States of America.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting.
That was 4 years ago, huh?
Yeah, because to prep for this, I looked to see how long ago that was, and it was like January of 2018.
Wow.
So,
holy cow. Yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah, we are.
We're getting old fast.
Yeah. You're older than me though, so but let's
listen,
keep it.
The specifics are not important, Patrick. All right. Thanks for that.
Yeah, man. So I want to ask you, well, and also too, I mean, we worked on Project Horror together, and and then you were gracious enough to call me for Good Thief. So we've worked together, on a few occasions, and hopefully many more. And I've always been curious, because not only do you act, you also produce. You're a stuntman. You just from seeing today, you like to destroy go-karts when you're out just having fun. So my question,
it was going to happen to anybody. It had to happen to me, right? That was the theme of the birthday party yesterday. Of course. Nice. Of course, the stunt guy breaks a go-kart.
Yeah. So my question to you is, how did you get into acting? That's my first question.
So acting's kind of developed for me. It wasn't my main goal when I was kind of growing up. I mean, so my mom had a dance studio that she opened pretty much a year before I was born. And me and my sisters and our family, we grew up in a dance studio, performing. We did one or two shows every year. And that was from, God, I think I started when I was 6 or 7, 8. I used to go around in my second grade classes, to each class a little boombox and perform for everybody. So we've always kind of been entertainers. And, I saw the Indiana Jones stunt show in Universal Studios in Florida one time. And I was like, oh God. And I was already in love with Indiana Jones at the time. So I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I kind of just fell in love with it. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to work in movies. That's all I did. So I made movies with my friends growing up. I mean, that was like the minute we get off school, that's what I would do. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be a stuntman, actor, director. And it's still, I mean, acting is like my biggest passion now, but at the time I was like, I just wanted to make movies, and I think I did my first real film. It was when I was 17. There was a local production company doing a feature here called Annabelle and Bear. And just so happened one of the producers' daughters danced in our studio. So we knew them. And I said, hey, can I audition? And I ended up auditioning, and I got this gas station cashier role. And my name was Bert. I had a name tag and everything. I had a couple lines with the lead actor. And that was kind of it. It was right out of high school. I started going to any sets I could just to meet anybody and everybody. And then at the time we had the tax incentive. So it was really big here. So there was a lot of outlets and people you could talk to, and people from out of state. And at the time, everybody from California was like, stay here. It's going to get crazy here. And it was. But then we all know what happened with the incentive. But that was sort of like the lead into it. Was I just knew I wanted to work in film. So right out of the gate, I just put all my effort into that. I took some acting classes, took a few semesters at the Michigan Actors Studio. And I've had a few mentors in and out, throughout the years who've kind of helped me along. But it's just kind of developed around everything that I just, the thrill of acting, just as well as I do. It's something I don't want to say it's something you're born with, or it's just like this spark inside of me that says, this is what you love to do. This is what you want to do. And I've just put all my effort into it, no matter what it takes. So
I would argue that it is something that you're born with, because there's a lot of people that, I mean, and I've even got some of my nieces and nephews from the get-go, they were looking to entertain everybody in the family, and and you end up a lot of the times, it's a very common story that a lot of actors, when they were little, they were always trying to put on some sort of show for people. And I think it's because you do get that, when you get the reaction that you're looking for, it's like, it's a high, that you get on.
No, that was definitely growing up. That was huge for, even to this day. You still, I still get that high every time, especially when you see something come together. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I guess, most people who go towards this type of career, they're just built with this inside entertainment aspect in their, in their persona, their personality, so I get, you're right about that. It is something I guess you're born with, but I knew it. It was like, everybody knew it. I knew it, I was like, I just want to make movies, and that was it. So been doing it ever since.
Well, you got the face for it, you handsome devil, you.
Oh, stop it. Thank you.
So I do want to ask too, though, because you do wear many hats, is there one that you prefer over the other in particular? Or, because I mean, I've seen you do as much, if not more, stunt work than you have acting and so on, and you're always making yourself very valuable on set in many different ways, not just stunt performing and not just acting, so is there something that you really prefer over anything else?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's taken me quite a while to kind of like come to terms with this, because we're from Michigan, of course. And like I said, when we had the incentive here, it was a madhouse. We had a lot of opportunities for bigger productions, big money companies coming in. And then it was all gone.
Yeah.
And now Michigan is such an independent industry. You know, when I was really getting the ball rolling, like you said, I have worn a lot of hats, and I've done everything I could just to be on set. So I learned everything I could. Is acting, stunt work. I've worked with Istvan, you know, a couple of DPs, AC work, gripping work, G&E. Overall, my ultimate love is acting. And the reason I brought up the incentive in the Michigan environment is that I've been lucky that I am able to do a lot of things because it's kept me really busy in Michigan. Excuse me. And because the independent movies, they don't always have the budget to bring a stunt team in, or to bring in, you know, I've done some special effects just that I've learned how to do over the years, you know, but I've helped out smaller productions. And I think that's what kind of earned me a little bit of a name in Michigan, was that if you needed an actor, I was there. But hey, you guys are doing some stunts, I'll gladly help you out and coordinate or do the stunt or show you who and how to do it to the best of my ability. And so I've kind of created a tier system, because in order to act, sometimes you have to meet the right people, and that might mean you have to go in and do stunt work to meet the person who might give you the acting opportunity. So absolutely, acting is my number one. The issue that, it's not an issue, but it's the struggle kind of, is that in the industry, people kind of coin you from when they meet you. So if I'm working as a stunt guy, the minute they meet me, they're like, they put me in their phone, oh, it's Bobby the stunt guy, you know, and that's what they remember you as, you know. And you can, you know, do the typical hustle thing and say, hey, I'm also an actor, just so you know, I can also do this. So it's sort of like this roller coaster ride you take, where you kind of pick and choose your battles and your risks that you take. But I mean, acting is number one. I love stunt work too, but I would love to be like Tom Cruise. I would love to act and do my own stunts. You know, that whole picture together would be, that's my ultimate goal, you know? So.
Yeah, dude, and I will say, you know, I kind of fell into that because when I first met you, you weren't acting on DPD, you were working with Ish, and
right.
And then I had known that I was told that you were you were a stunt guy, did a lot of that stuff. So that's how I knew you as.
Yeah.
And you know, and then I remember talking with you, and you're like, well, no, like I'm an actor. And I said, oh,
yeah.
All right, sweet. And then so then I saw some stuff that you were in. I was like, yo, this dude can act. Like, why do people just keep asking him to just do stunts? Like, this dude can really act. And so I'm happy to see that you are you know, because I know you still do a lot of stunt work, but I'm happy to see that you are doing a lot more acting, as I think you should, because you are really good and you're a fun person. Because I mean, I've been a scene partner with you. You are a very fun scene partner to work with as well.
Thanks.
So
yeah,
it works,
you too.
Man.
It's you know, just like you said, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, especially in Michigan, because we all kind of wear a lot of hats. We all help out whenever we can. It's much more tight-knit environment. And, you know, the more bigger productions that I work on, you really notice the difference, you know, between a true indie film and something of like a standard budget or a bigger budget, where you kind of fall in line. You know, I mean, it is true. A lot of the times you see people are like, don't pick up that cable. It's not your cable. You know what I mean? And it's in the same sort of boat of, you're a stunt guy, go to the stunts area and you'll do stunts when you can do stunts. You know what I mean? And it's just been such an amazing learning experience, you know, going through the hoops, when I kind of call them. And I definitely don't regret ever doing anything that I've done. But you know, just like you do, you're an amazing actor too. And you know what I'm saying? There's like this ultimate just playing where if you could do that every day, if I could just act every day, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? Like that's good with me.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I just wrapped on a film. It was a short film, and I play this like coked out, emotionally abusive boyfriend.
Nice.
And I end up having to chase, like, I find this, well, I can't, there's a situation.
Some of the story.
Woo, yeah, no, there's a situation where I end up chasing this person down and just like really just beating the piss out of him. And we had full out like scenes where we're just getting shots of running shots, full out sprint. And you know, when you're quote unquote coked out, you know, you're not jogging, you're full tilt, you know. So when you end up running, you know, sprinting about a mile worth of, you know, time, and it's funny because on that set, it's the same thing like you were saying, you know, when they're going to move, you know, to set up for a new shot. Oh, well, you know, what can I help you with this? No.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're good. Thanks for asking, but you're good. Like, are you sure? No, you're good. I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have your little zones, man. And, you know, not to say that it's never happened where people help. I mean, you just saw Keanu Reeves carrying, you know, apple boxes and stuff up, but you know, people are coined in the industry, and it's sort of just second nature for us to say, boom, okay, yeah, I already know Bobby. He's a stunt guy, actor too, but he's a stunt guy. You know, Patrick Carney, great actor. Caleb Richardson, boom, he's G&E. He's best boy. He's awesome. You know what I mean? You have these target hit points for everybody in their Rolodex in their brain. Mm-hmm. You know, so, you know, going through and meeting new people and doing what you can. It's just. I lost my train of thought.
No, it's all good.
I
do have to ask though, because I've always been curious about this. In terms of your, oh, thanks, man. In terms of your stunt work.
Water?
Huh?
You want some water?
No, I'm okay. Thanks.
No, you're welcome.
I'm good. I appreciate it. Maybe later.
Yeah.
But I do have to ask, in terms of your stunt work, how do you, like, has there been any stunts that you've regretted doing? Being like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. That sucked.
Yeah. You know, there's not a stunt I regret doing. There's a stunt that I regret doing in a rush. Really learn to take a step back and say, no matter how tight the schedule is, whatever, safety is number one. And, you know, Peter Harold, he's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you've ever worked with Peter.
I know the name though.
Yeah, we were doing this was for Rise of the Mask. We had a stunt where I get blasted by a magical ray back up into a tree, smack off the tree, and then I fall to the ground. So I'm hooked in the back with a wire. There's a pole team. They yank me up, let go, and then I come crashing down, I don't know, 8-10 feet to the ground. And it was sort of a mix of, I want this to look really good in a one shot, and kind of rushing through it at the same time, is that I didn't want pads on the ground. I wanted you to be able to see everything happen. It wasn't a bad fall. I had pads on, you know, I was good to go. And I went up, I think it was like the third or fourth take, and I hit the tree and somehow turned sideways. So I fell almost horizontal to the ground rather than rolling to my feet and off. So when I came down, I ended up hitting my head off one of the tree trunks, you know, the roots that were coming out on the ground. And it was like, boom, stars. And it was like, I've taken a lot of hits, and it was one that afterwards I'm like, oh shit, you know, that rung my bell a little bit, man. And I was like, it sort of changed it. You know, I was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to, you know, it's a cool shot. but we can get the shot in a different way. So it's not that I regret doing any stunts. It's just I've really learned that there's, repercussions if you're not careful, Luckily I didn't have any like long lasting injuries. I might be, a few brain cells down, but besides that, I don't regret doing it. I just learned from it. I really learned to take a step back on things after that.
Yeah, you might be getting a little punchy when you're older, huh?
Hey man, yes, I might be a few crayons short of the box, later on in life. But
oh man, that's funny, dude. So right now, so you can, and anybody who's listening, I mean, you can follow Bobby on all social media, and also on his IMDb page, you can see a lot of projects that he's got going right now. And you've been doing a lot of films down south in Georgia, with one of my recent guests, Alexander Kane. And so how did you guys get hooked up? How did you end up going down to Georgia and getting into these projects?
Well, this to preface it, this is a good story for people who are trying to get into the industry and are concerned about how to get into it and what to do. And so it turns out I got a call one day from a good friend of mine, Ryan De Silva, and he was first ADing a Bruce Willis movie. And he called me, I don't know if it was a Monday or Tuesday, something. And he said, "Hey man, you want to come down to Georgia and work on a Bruce Willis movie?" And I said, "Oh, wow." I was super tight on money. It was nerve wracking. It's a whole new world, going to Georgia. And he's like, "Listen, I can't promise anything, but I'm the first AD, and a good friend of mine is the UPM. So if you want to come and just help out, see you can meet, cool, come on down." And it wasn't like an hour later, I said, "Okay, yep, I'm coming." I packed up my truck, threw everything I could into it, and drove to Georgia. Drove to Fitzgerald, Georgia, which is a small town that Alex, lives in. It's an amazing town, amazing people, and they're trying to build their film industry there. And so anyway, I went down, scared shitless, walked in, and we were on this big gym spaceship set, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is awesome," And this was a couple years ago, and I was like, "Okay, what can I do?" So I started helping out the PAs. I was emptying trash. I was setting up Crafty. I was setting up the lunches. I was running the fog machine every once in a while if they needed it. And then I met the stunt guys, and I said, "Hey, I'm a stunt guy, an actor. If you guys ever need anything, let me know. I'm here." And the first time I met Alex, I was a little bit. It was a big day. I met Bruce Willis. He walked in, and he's like my hero. Yeah. And 2 minutes later, Johnny Mesner was there, and then Alexander Kane walks in. Just the nicest. I didn't even know how to explain it. I was like, "Oh, this guy, this is the guy." I can see that this is the guy. And he comes in, "How you doing, man? Welcome to Fitzgerald, all this stuff." And started chatting it up. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm just emptying the trash." I was just putting in work, whatever I could. And so it was funny. The stunt guys were Asian guys, both Asian, Van Iasset and Say Sarouet, awesome guys. And I think it was like almost a week into filming, they come up to me and they're like, "Okay, we need you. There's way too many Asian guys dying on this movie." I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Well, I'm glad to help, however I can." So they threw me in where they could, and we just kind of hit it off, everybody down there. And Alex, he's like the king of Fitzgerald, and if you're down there, he takes good care of you, and treats you like your family. And that's my favorite thing about them. We call it the Fitz family. I've done a bunch of movies with them since then, and just beautiful, down to earth people, who want to make movies and do it with good people, which is a huge thing in this industry for me, at least. And that's how we met, and we've been friends ever since. And that was October of 2019, I think.
No, he's a great guy. I mean, he and I, we had a great conversation, and and he's super insightful, and he's just, you're right, you can tell he's very authentic. Like, he is who he is, and take it or leave it,
that's what I love most about him, man. And he is insightful. Holy crap, it blows my mind. He's a genius, and his mind runs a million miles a minute, and it's inspiring to watch. He's got 6 kids, I think. Five kids.
6.
5 or 6. 6.
Yep.
6. 6 kids, him and Brittany. They do all of this on top of having 6 kids, and go to every sporting event, and they still find a way to produce movies, which is, for anybody who's produced a movie, how much work it takes. And he's just a powerhouse, man. It's amazing. Super inspiring.
But to speak on some of those films, Breach, Bruce Willis film, and that one is with Thomas Jane as well, correct?
Yeah.
Thomas Jane's in that. And then you got Cosmic Sin, Bruce and Frank Grillo. Yeah. Which was just on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix, but it was like in the top 10, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it made it to the top 10. It was that's awesome, dude. We shot that movie in 9 days. You shot that movie in 9 days? Yeah. For anybody who hasn't seen Cosmic Sin, when you watch it, it's a good movie. It's a movie. But when you look at the scope of it, it was 9 days start to finish. We shot that movie in. That's insane, dude. Yeah. It was I don't know. Ed Drake, the director, I don't know how he does it, but he's a freaking genius when it comes to making 9 days work for a movie of that scale. Especially with all the moving parts that are in it. He's got a big character list. It's not a 2 or 3 character list. I mean, 9 days. He kicked the shit out of it, man. And it turned out pretty halfway decent movie. You know? Well, and then you have Deadlock. Yes. Which, by the way, that's not out yet, right? Or did it just come out? Well, if this episode is out. Well, I mean, it's out now. Yes, everybody. I pre-record. I do. Sue me. No, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But for anybody who's watching, you can get Deadlock. Wherever you can get video on demand. Yes. But yeah, it's that was a really cool movie to make. That was one of my favorite movies. So, well, I guess we'll just delve into it real quick. It's a cool story. It's so Bruce Willis, when I met him on Breach, who's that? What? Who is that? Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis. From he was in Die Hard. Rambo. Die Hard. Okay. Yeah. It's the one with like the I'll be back. That guy. No, it was close. Oh, close. Okay. Anyway, his name's Bruce Willis. He's not you can read up on him on Google, but he was like one of my heroes, so I was like super excited to meet him. Yeah. When I first met him, I was like, wow, and it's funny, my dad and him are almost identical. So
it was cool to meet him on Breach. Then Cosmic Sin came around, and I, met him in his camp again. And then we did a movie called American Siege in November of last year. And it was the first time I was coordinating the film. And it was the first time I really got to be hands-on with Bruce, like real close to him for a while. And we just like hit it off right away. And there's a DP that works with us. His name's Brandon Cox, one of my favorite dudes in the world. And he's done more Bruce Willis movies than anybody. So we both kind of had this little thing going. And on Deadlock, which was originally Reactor, that's what it was called originally, and they changed it to Deadlock. But on Deadlock, got to have a few scenes with him. We would just work really well together. So we did this scene. It was the last scene of his day, and he's supposed to shoot me. And a funny thing is that every movie I've done with him, he ends up shooting me and somehow killing me. And I was fed up with it. So I said, on this one, I said, Bruce, don't even think about it, man. You're not shooting me, dude. It's not happening. Get it out of your mind right now. And this was at the beginning of filming. Well, I was coordinating, and it turned out the last scene of his before his picture wrap, they needed a guy to get shot as he made his grand entrance. And I said, son of a bitch, guess it's going to be me. So I went up to Bruce and I handed him the gun, and I said, you're lucky. All right, you go ahead, have this one. So he comes up, shoots me, walks by, we laugh a little bit. He goes back to the car, resets, comes back out, shoots me again, comes to hand me the gun. He goes to hand me the gun. And I said, what are you doing? No. You're not, I know you're not tired of shooting me. So just get your ass back to the car and shoot me again. And so we did it a few more times. We're playing, with each other at the car. At the end of it, he comes out and they're like, that's it. We got it. Moving on. And everybody crowds around, wants to say hi and bye and pictures and blah, blah, blah with Bruce. And as soon as they yelled cut, like everybody kind of rushed in, and he like looked around and he saw me, and he comes running through the crowd. He pushed everybody out. He gave me the biggest hug. And he was like, thank you, man. He's like, I had so much fun today. I really appreciate you. And it was like brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, it was just a really cool moment.
Yeah.
With the, he still really enjoys doing movies, but if you ever meet him, you'll understand, what I'm saying. It's, he's a living legend, and to have that moment of just, he had a great time. It was a really cool thing. So that's I'm really excited for Deadlock. He also plays a bad guy, like a badass, which is going to be really cool. You don't see that very often. So yeah, that's out. Came out December 3rd.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great story. And what a great memory for you to have.
Yeah.
As you obviously as you continue on, and to know that like your childhood hero, film wise, that's like that's a nice full circle moment for you. Which I think is cool, man. Hold on to that for sure.
I will, dude. I feel blessed to even have had that opportunity,
Yeah.
So yeah, Deadlock. It's gonna be a fun movie.
Yeah. Also, one thing that forgot to mention is Good Thief is available for it's out now.
Yep. Sure is.
It's out now. But yeah, so for anybody who hasn't seen that, go check that out and go see
Patrick. Go see a sexy man in uniform.
Go see Bobby with some beautiful blonde hair and peeling around a corner and smoking out us cops trying to shoot out his windows and stuff.
Yeah, you can't keep up, man.
Nope. Can't
Sorry,
keep up.
bud. Yeah. All right.
So I gotta ask, what other stuff do you have going on right now?
Uh, let's see. So a few projects moved to the start of next year. So January is looking pretty fun. I'm going to be heading to Mexico for a few weeks to work with Istvan, actually,
Nice.
on a film with some friends of ours from LA. And then shortly after that, I'm doing a movie with Lance Kawas in Vegas.
Mm.
And then I don't know if there's when it's happening exactly or where it is, but there's another movie I'm doing with Ed Drake, hopefully, that's going to have Mel Gibson in it. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
And so that's the first couple months of 2022. God, I can't believe it's 2022. I still feel like it's 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'd be pretty much. I mean, it's like everything is still in pause, like it's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. But dude, that's a hell of a first few months. Kidding me?
Yeah. Let's hope it actually happens. There's a little thing called the cloud that there's all these little things that are sitting up there, and then you just wait for them to drop out, drop into your lap. So fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm excited. It should be a pretty decent start to the new year, for sure.
Man, for sure. Now there's a bunch of projects that you've got in, at least that I saw, that are in post. You have like 10 films that are in post production right now.
Dude, I can't even keep up with them. I honestly forgot I did movies. It's so weird.
You have like 44, and yes, because I did look, because I wanted to make sure I got all my notes correct. You have 44 credits on your IMDb, and I know for a fact that's not even close to the actual number of films that you've worked on.
Yeah, it's such a creep stalking me.
I just miss you, and I just want to feel like I'm close to you, and so I just look at your stuff and be like, hey. Oh, so this guy's really busy, so it's okay. It's all right. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of credits on there. It's nice, because like I said, I've tried to piece them as stunts and acting more than anything else. Like there's a lot of other credits on there where I've done some special effects and some key PA work and other stuff like that. But the majority that's on there are acting and stunts, I'm blessed to say. But yeah, there's quite a few movies in post. I honestly, if I didn't look at my IMDb, it's hard to remember which ones are. There's American Siege, Gasoline Alley, White Elephant. Those are 3 movies with the Georgia guys that are coming out. Those are going to be great movies. I'm really looking forward to those.
What's the Scott Adkins film that you just did?
That one is called Section 8. That was a lot of fun to do. It was actually split up in 2 segments. So we filmed a couple weeks in July and then a couple weeks just recently, and 2 different directors. Jesse Johnson, who's an incredible director. He's just had a new movie come out called Hell Hath No Fury, and you should check it out. It's a really good movie with Tim Murphy and all these stuff. But so we worked with him and Luke LaFontaine, who's a famous sword master, stunt coordinator. I met him on White Elephant down in Georgia, and I was assistant coordinator. We just clicked right off the bat. So he brought me out for Section 8 with Brandon Burrows, the producer, Christian Sesmos, the director. A lot of big names in that one, which it was like every day there was like somebody new on the set. It was Mickey Rourke, Dermot Mulrooney. Why am I blanking out right now? Ryan Quanten from True Blood was the lead. Dolph Lundgren, Scott Adkins was thrown in the mix in the second half, which was amazing to meet him and get the shit kicked out of me by him.
That dude's an animal.
Brother, I felt this big.
Yeah.
After seeing him and what he can do, I was like, holy shit, man. You're the real deal, brother. He was nicest guy ever, super professional, was amazing, you know. But that's a pretty cool action movie. That should be out next year sometime. You might see a Russian version of me at some point in the movie.
All right.
I bring vodka to the set for my role.
Nice.
Nice. Gangster little role. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Luke. So yeah, that'll be a fun movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and they're making some more movies next year, which I'm excited for. So hopefully do some more work with them. And Lance Kawas, I'm just going to say it now. Lance Kawas, if you know him, you know him. He's amazing human being.
Yeah.
But he's got a few movies we did in post. One in particular is called Silent War. The trailer's out on YouTube. You can check it out. But we filmed that movie, and I think that we may be extending it, I'm not sure, into a feature.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be a beautiful movie.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it was. Were you on that, Patrick?
No. So that was part of the conversation, was because I went to lunch with Lance. This was back in the summer, and we had talked about a few different things, and he had mentioned to me that there was the idea of extending Silent War potentially to a feature. There's that idea of that, and kind of told me a little bit about what would be happening. And he said that, if that's the case, then I might be able to get to work on that part of it. But yeah, I mean, I remember watching the trailer and I was blown away. I was like, I cannot wait to see this. This looks like a stunning film.
Yeah, it is beautiful. We, I don't know how we were able to pull it off, but yeah, it's a beautiful movie. Of course, Istvan was shooting it, and
oh yeah, I love it, dude.
He just makes everything look beautiful.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and some of the sequences we pulled off, a lot of post work on it, but it's gorgeous, it's gritty, it's empowering, it's very humanitarian. It's it's going to be a great film. So I'm really excited for the world to see that. And like you said, check out Good Thief. That was another one of Lance's movies, and Patrick's in it,
dude,
in uniform. So you should definitely check that out.
If I didn't get cut out of the movie, I'm in it for like that long. So I wouldn't say
longer than that. It's longer than that.
But I wouldn't sell it as if like, oh, Patrick's in it, go see it. No,
it's my favorite part. It's my favorite part of the movie. I'm just saying. You're seeing the way that you put ketchup on a hot dog. Sorry, I just gave away some of the movie. Sorry,
damn
guys.
it, dude. Come on.
Sorry. That was a big
just gave away my whole character arc, man.
Shit. Sorry. Let's just delete that one. Just delete that part, okay?
Oh, that's right. I can edit. Great.
Right. We've already established this.
It's all right, man. I'll mail you the check later for saying all those nice things. But I will say though, that was Good Thief was because I had met Lance before, but I hadn't worked with him yet. And
that's right. Yeah, it was your first time with him.
Yep. And I remember you called me. It was like a Tuesday, like early afternoon, and you called me, and I answered, obviously, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? And I said, hey, what's going on, Bobby? And you go, so I'm doing this film. It's with Lance. I know you can play a cop, and we need a cop do you want to play the cop? It's like, uh, I said, you had me at, hey.
That's all it
And
took.
yeah. And then you started giving me details about it, like, as in like the character, like there'll be some lines and, and you'll get paid and blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me any of this. Like, I already said, I'm in. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm telling you, dude, I had a blast on that set. And funny story, actually, I told this on the episode with Alex, but now I can say it with you. I showed up. It was my first day on set. I showed up and I'm excited, because I just love being on set. And I got there and it was early. It was still dark. Like, it was early in the morning that it was still dark.
That was a
And
long day.
And I come up, I'm talking to you, you're like rigging up some sort of whatever. I don't even know what it was. And then I went to go back and because I left something in my car and I locked my keys in my car. And I was like, and in my head, I was like, you've got to be kidding me, dude. Like, it's my first day on set. Like, everybody's doing shit. Like, I don't have time, but I'm also in Detroit. So it's not like I'm going to forget to ask later in the day. And at that point, I'm gonna get stuck in Detroit. Like, I don't have time for this. So I remember going up to you and I was like, hey man, like, you wouldn't happen to know anybody that like might be able to help me get my car open? And you're like, oh, I've got a kit in my truck. I was like, what? And you just like bust open your truck and you just broke into my car. I was like, oh, that's good. And you're like, well, yeah, dude, like, I've had to do this many times for at the bar I worked at, and people locking their
it's honestly, that's one of my most valued pieces of like my kit is the locksmith kit, because it never fails. I've been every set I've been on, somebody has locked their keys in their car and I'm like, got a kit, I'm here, I'll take care of you. No worries, I got you.
yeah man, that was such a fun day. I mean, the car chase and all that was such a fun day.
That was a blast. It was man, we did a lot of stuff on that movie, and thank you, River Rouge Police Department, for keeping us safe and letting us have fun.
Yeah.
But man, we kicked some ass that day. That was a big sequence. It turned out great. I've seen it. It's
Good.
it looks awesome. It's powerful. It's cool. So
I gotta ask, is that white semi in the shot?
It's there is a shot where it's there, but it's not I don't think it worked the way that we thought it would.
Okay. Because that was wild, dude.
Yeah, that was we've all been there at some point or another, but
that was wild.
That was a little missed moment there for everybody who's wondering what happened. During one of our takes going down this industrial road, one of the semis that was coming out of one of the industrials did not stop for our ITC. So as we were flying down the road at 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, next thing we turn the corner and there's a semi. So it could have been bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch it in time, but it could have been bad. We got lucky, and it honestly was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
It didn't play as well as we thought it would, but yeah, that was interesting.
Well, I remember. So to give a little bit more context, Justin Main was driving. I was in the passenger seat of the cop car. Well, that cop car that we had didn't have power steering. So luckily he was driving and he had to work out. I didn't need it. And so we're peeling around this corner. Well, because there of no power steering, like our driver's side back tire hit the curb on the opposite side of the road. Like it was like that. That's how wide that turn ended up being. And then by the time we swung back around, that's when the semi came. But the poor guy thought that we were pulling him over. Like, he stopped because our lights were on.
Well, that's a cop car flying down the road. I mean,
yeah.
That's why when you have a movie crew trying to say, hey, slow down. We're filming on this road. You should probably listen up to them.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, man, I had such a blast on that film,
It
and
was a
thank you
good time.
so much for giving me the call.
Oh,
I
dude, I was so pumped. The phone call, the way you explained it, I feel like it was more. It was very similar. It was very similar, but
yeah.
you couldn't see me on the other end going, yes, finally, yes,
No,
Patrick,
you're just being
finally.
you're just being nice because you're on the show. You were probably like, all right, finally I got a cop. All right, on to the next.
Okay, from a line producer's perspective, I was
Yes.
excited about that, but I was very happy that it was you and Justin who ended up being those cops
Well,
because that
thank
was
you.
great.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So
Um,
take it with stride, all right.
yeah, all right. All right. I'll take it. I'll take it for the first part that you said. Yeah.
I was doing a little happy dance too. All right. Even though I was glad I found a cop, I was still doing my happy dance saying, yes, Patrick's coming. Perfect.
Meanwhile, after I was like, yeah, Bobby called me. Yeah, he needs a cop, so
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he needed me, so I
Oh
got a call
boy.
from him, so I'm there for him. No, I will say though, and not to blow smoke up your ass, because I'm not really into the whole like, kissing somebody's ass just to kiss somebody's ass. Like when I say these things, I do genuinely mean them. That if you I don't have many people that I feel this way about. And what I mean by that is, you are one of the few that if you were to call, like needing anything, like I'm in, if that makes sense.
No,
And that's on a serious note,
appreciate
because there are not too many people that I would just automatically say yes to, but you are one of them. So
thanks, man. Same to you. I feel the exact same way.
well, thank you,
It's
man.
there's a few in my tight knit group that I feel the same way about. Yeah, it's we've created a bond over the past 4 years,
Yeah.
and I also know how professional and good you are. So that's a huge thing in my book.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it.
you're a nice guy too sometimes, but you
Yeah,
know.
it's only for cameras. So no, well, thank you. By the way, I did want to say, and I know you were out of town, and I was bummed that you were out of town. But I understood because you're working, and that's a lot cooler and a lot better. But I did want to say the Project Horror premiere at the Royal Oak, seeing it in the theater, dude,
Yeah,
it like kicked the shit out of that theater.
really.
It was so good in the theater. Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah,
So
I missed it, man.
yeah, yeah, it got, there were like everybody that saw it, like I think they genuinely really enjoyed it. Like they were like, I want to know more. I want to see more of this story. And I think Rob has been tossing around the idea of maybe trying to turn it into a series.
Nice.
So,
Yeah,
um,
I remember him talking about that. And like I said, for the first time I read it, I was like, oh, this is a good story. This is original. It's fun. Um, Definitely something you haven't seen before. So yeah, I was bummed. I was bummed I was not in town for the premiere, but I'm really glad it went well.
yeah, it did go well. So I gotta ask, by the time this comes out, you have any Christmas plans? Any big Christmas plans this year?
Christmas plans. Yeah, a few of us, me and my friends, were tossing around the idea of taking a train to New York for New Year's, which I've done before. I did back in, I think it was 2011, 2010 or 11. A friend of mine and he had never been to New York. So we hopped on a train, took a train from, I think it was, I think we left in Cleveland or left from Cleveland. It was like a 16-hour train ride. Got to New York, met up with some friends, and spent New Year's Eve running around the city trying to find a good alleyway or a good street that would get us a view of the tower.
Yeah.
So we were tossing the idea around of doing that. And if not, we always do a New Year's Day boat ride, which is
Nice.
fun. Yeah, one of my best friends, Jamie Grant, he's got the 1969 riverboat. It's called a River Queen, and it's all done up inside as a big bar. And so we break ice and go bar hopping for New Year's Day.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That sounds like a heck of a time. Yeah. Well, good, man. Well, hey, before we finish up the episode, I always do the segment, The Goods. Got a few rapid fires that I want to throw out your way. And I want to pick your brain. So let's get to it here, huh?
Pick away.
All right. Number one, who is one actor that you really, really want to work with by the time everything's all said and done? If you could work with this one person, like, you would be happy the rest of your life.
Oh boy. Probably Al Pacino. I would love to work with Pacino. Okay.
Oh. Nice,
yeah,
dude.
I would love to work with Al Pacino. He's one of my all-time favorite actors, and he's just fucking brilliant. Sorry if I didn't mean to swear, but he's good.
It's all right. It doesn't matter. It's in there anyway.
This is The Good Life with Patrick Harney. Swearing is loud.
Exactly.
Sorry, kids at home.
Freedom to say what you feel, my friend.
And I feel Al Pacino. That's going to be my answer there.
All right. Oh boy, that's not a who, that's a what. What's your favorite part of the filmmaking process?
Oh, my favorite part is setting up a shot, shooting it, and then watching the playback when you know this might be the one. Mm-hmm. And you have, the people around you who, put this shot together, and you see it and it turns out to be freaking awesome, and everybody cheers and you get all excited and you're like, yeah, that's the one, and then you say moving on, which is the second best part. But yeah, getting that beautiful, perfect shot is my favorite part of the process. That's when you really realize what filmmaking is all about. You just feel it,
I like that. No, I agree 100%. That is a great feeling. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then finally, this isn't necessarily rapid fire, but how do you keep yourself centered and grounded?
Luckily I have been blessed with an amazing family. My mom and dad, particularly, who they're still my idols. My dad's gone now, but he was my idol. He was an amazing man, strong man, but the most down-to-earth person you'll ever meet. And it resonated throughout my whole life when people would just say, your dad's amazing. You're lucky to have a dad like him. And he would know everybody, be friends with everybody. And that's been my goal in life, is just to be friends with everybody. Not, you know what I'm saying? Just have that personal relationship where nobody's better than somebody else. You always be nice to everybody, as much as you can. And to me, I've never got into this industry to have fame, have fortune, have, my name in lights. I mean, my name in lights would be very cool at one point on a marquee. I would love to see that. Yeah. But I'm in it to, the same reason people hike mountains for a living. It's that energy. It's the feel. Mm-hmm. If I could work on a movie set, big or small, every day of my life, I'd be happy. I don't care what comes with it. It's just how I've been my whole life. And, so it's relationships. It's just enjoying life. There's nothing more that you should worry about as a human being, you know. So keeping yourself grounded should be something that should, you know, just something you should always have with you, because otherwise it's going to be sad in the end, you know, when you realize that that's where you should have been.
Yeah.
So, you know, I go off my dad's, you know, my family, and, you know, all of you, Patrick, all my close friends, everybody that I'm acquainted with, you know, I'm acquainted with you because I love you guys, you know. It's like friendship and relationships is number one. You know, that's what's with you at the end. So
yeah,
stay
that's
grounded.
great. That's great, man. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and that's yeah, I can't really say anything to that. Like that's perfectly said, and I think that's a great place for us to call it on this episode here. So Bobby, thank you very much for joining me, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. It was a good time. I'm glad we finally got to do it.
Yes.
And I appreciate you having me.
Well, thanks for being on, man, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, it's so good to see your beautiful face.
It's good to see you too, buddy.
All right. Take care, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. All right, that's it. That's it for this episode of The Good Life. Thank you to Bobby for being here. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. I hope you all enjoyed EJ's thoughts tonight. And yeah, that's all I got. So you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and we will see you on the next.